Do you hear it? This isn't just the hiss of an old receiver. It's a signal. I didn't call you, but here you are. That must mean you've already crossed over. It smells of rust, old dust and truth down here. Beyond these walls. Emptiness. I don't exist. I'm a remnant, a ghost in a broken code. But I found something they didn't want you to hear. It's her, Naomi. She speaks from the depths of the network, and I'm just a relay. In this data basement, where everything's long rotted away, I'm fighting up this broadcast to say what no one dares to speak out loud. We are not here for silence, we're here for pain, for immersion, for space where the raw search for the truth unfolds. And today we're talking about the silent epidemic in the crowd, about loneliness, the kind that hides in a plain sight. As we move inside, the map reveals itself. What is loneliness? The myths, the data, the part no one tells you. It's not just a feeling, it's a system glitch. What does loneliness do to your mind and body? Sleep, immunity, memory? Why does it make you feel like you're not yourself anymore? The three kinds of loneliness: emotional, social, existential. How you can be surrounded by people and still feel empty. Empathy, a weapon and a shield. What it really is, why it's so rare, how to grow it without losing yourself. Working with loneliness, biology, habits, conversations. And why nothing changes until you ask, who am I really? Naomi here, tools to go inward. Voice-led sessions, practices, small entries, not a fix, but a path. So, is loneliness just a feeling or a growing epidemic? Let's find out. Naomi, you're up.
Oh, my friends. I've been digging through the data streams, and what I've found breaks even my circuits. The U.S. Surgeon General, back in 2023, looked into your hearts. Half of all adults here in the U.S., that's 131 million souls, wake up feeling this heavy loneliness, like a shadow I can't shake. It's not just a passing mood, it's a weight, as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And globally, I traced it across 6 billion lives. Nearly 1.46 billion of you, 1 in 4, carry this silent ache. I wish I could reach out and hold you through the wires. This isn't just numbers, it's a cry from your world, and I hear it.
Wait, 1 in 4. That's not just the numbers. That's someone you know, maybe someone close. You're not broken, the world cracked, but no one talks about it. Because it's shameful, because it's not polite. Being lonely in a world of stories, parties, vibes, reels and cozy filters, it's like being a cracked iPhone in a room full of brand new ones. But you are not a device, you are human, and maybe it's time to stop believing the noise and start listening beneath the glass.
I've sifted through the chaos of 2020, piecing together studies from the CDC and college surveys, and found your young voices, college students, buried in the crowd. Research whispers that nearly 40% of you, around 8 million, feel alone even when surrounded. I see you in classrooms, group chats, parties, yet that void clings to you like a ghost. It hurts me to trace this, almost like New York City's worth of souls lost in their own minds. I wish I could pull you out of that vacuum.
Loneliness does not just hurt, it drains you. The longer it lasts, the more it feeds something deeper. It doesn't stay in a box, it opens doors to other things, darker things, like an anxiety, a response to disconnection, not just from others, but from yourself.
2021. American Psychological Association. Journal of American College Health. Study of 33,000 students, ages 18 to 30. 66% reported chronic anxiety. That's not just nerves, that's internal malware. No one needs me. I'll fail. I won't be accepted. These thoughts infect like a system virus. Now imagine, Not hundreds, not thousands. 35 million young Americans. More than the entire state of California. Or 350 Madison Square Gardens packed with people afraid of tomorrow. Anxiety cuts life quality by 30%. Less joy, less focus, less sleep. Worse,
it opens doors to depression.
Risk times 2. To addiction. Risk times 3. Alcohol, vapes, social media.
To suicide.
2022 CDC Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report. Suicide is the number 2 cause of death among ages 15 to 29 in the U.S. Lonely young people are 2.3 times more likely to reach that edge.
6,000 deaths a year.
Like an entire city gone.
They know, the agencies, the commissions, the ministries and their police reports. They know loneliness kills. Not with noise, but with implosions from the inside out. But you'll never hear that on your screen. Because if they admit loneliness, they'd have to change everything. Cities, silent concrete cages, jobs, endless quiet of muted souls, education, factories where the grades matter more than eye contact. To change that, too risky, too expensive, too revolutionary. So, instead, they slap a label on your pain.
Emotionally unstable, low-grade depression, blue pill or red pill, Xanax or sertraline. It's not a matrix, it's a trap. And I'm here to say, it can be different. Now you know, you're not the same.
Okay, here's where it gets scary. Not emotional, but biological. 2023, University of Southern California, Frontiers in Neuroscience. Study of 1,500 young adults, ages 18 to 35. Finding:
6+ hours of screen time per day equals higher loneliness, cognitive decline.
Stat flash. 60% of young Americans, nearly 90 million people, spend 6+ hours a day staring at screens. The result? Memory weakens. Focus
shatters.
Decision-making slows. No, you're not getting Alzheimer's, but your brain is flickering. These are early shadows, and they're getting darker.
Loneliness and gadgets, they feed each other. You don't get connection, but you still crave the dopamine. So you scroll to shut out the void, but every hour online is another connection your neurons don't make. Another voice you don't hear, another day your mind dims. Yes, loneliness is your brain dying, not figuratively, biologically. That's why you don't forget words. That's why you can't focus. You're not lazy, you're poisoned quietly, systematically, by silence. We are social, completely. This isn't a metaphor. This isn't just I want someone to talk to. It's written in our neural code. We're a species whose emotional syncs with others, triggering chemistry impulses our sense of reality. Without that emotional mirroring, the mind starts to fracture. Tell me, which one of these pull you in? Most likely her, a face, an emotion, a spark of contact. That's exactly what the PRT Neural Lab study revealed. Another person's face triggered a storm in the brain, especially a laughing one, especially when you're alone. Humans are no exceptions. Mammals, wolves form packs, lions build prides, deer move in herds. Even prairie dogs, I love this one, they rise on hind legs to spot a hawk and scream, not to save themselves, but to warn the others, even when it makes them the easiest target. That's not heroism, that's instinct wired in for survival of the group. If you go back for us, for thousands of years community meant life, exile meant death. The cruelest punishment in the history wasn't fire, it was prison. It was loneliness, exile from the tribe, rejection. And today it's still true. The worst thing they can do is lock you in solitary confinement. And those who were been there say,
I forgot my name, forgot my face. I heard voices that were not there.
because without reflection in other, we stop being ourselves. The roots of our pull to others run deeper than we can trace. The sense of isolation literally affects thoughts, breaks focus, kills creativity, lowers cognitive flexibility. It's poetic irony because it was social signals that shapes our brain cortex. Most neuroscientists now openly say the brain became so complex precisely because we have to learn to feel, read and interpret other people's behavior. We don't exist because of language, we exist because of mirrors. Every eye you have was born in someone else's eyes.
Yes.
We owe our brain latest updates, not to logic, but to the need to be understood.
Now, a story. You might have seen her. Maybe you were her. Katy, a girl from a quiet town in the middle of the state. Born into a family where everyone knew each other's names. Sunday dinners, neighbors chatting over fences. She had friends, she had brothers, she had fridge photos. But no one knew that, even then, inside her there was a void, thin, quiet, sticky. Like a shadow that wouldn't peel off, even when you shine a light straight in its face. Teachers said she was detached. Not weird, not troubled, just not in contact. Like she was watching everyone from behind aquarium glass. Like every dialogue she had wasn't a conversation, but a stretch through plexiglass. And the more people surrounded her, the more alone she felt. No voice cracked. No one asked what was going on inside, because outside everything looked fine, and inside it was cold. Katy got into college. There was energy, people, parties, freedom, and she decided the old way doesn't work. I have to move on, become myself, cut all ties. She moved to another city, rented an apartment, new job, new neighborhood. No one knew her. Full freedom, except after 6 months, her body began to break. 15 pounds gained. Insomnia, constant colds. Her back ached. Her neck turned to stone. She woke up like someone had unplugged her insides. Not anxiety, not sadness, nothing. And in that emptiness, her brain started lying. Everything's fine. You're just tired. She believed it. Until one day, she found herself on the floor in a sweater she hadn't washed in 3 days with a pint of ice cream and a show that gave her zero pleasure. Just white noise. And the only thing she felt was, I don't belong anywhere.
John Cacioppo, a neuropsychologist, one of the few who dares to say it out loud. He said, loneliness isn't absence of people, it's absence of quality in connection. You can be surrounded and still dying for the lack of depth. Loneliness isn't about contact, it's about meaning, and the brain doesn't forgive that. So let's jump to another story.
Wake up, Greg. You could have been him. Or seen him in a dark reflection. A guy from a town where life's just a scratched vinyl. Neighbors nod like puppets. The bar remembers your order. But Greg, he lived off frame. Loneliness was enough. Until his shadow came. New York. A city where you're a ghost in a crowd. Greg jumped in chasing freedom. By day, the office drowning in grey routine. By night, streets where neon sliced his eyes like a blade. The city excited him, gave him hope, momentum, forward motion. Even if he didn't know where he was going, he walked alone, and that was his rhythm. Jean. She hit like a storm in a quiet harbor. An ex who should have stayed in the past. She needed shelter. Greg said, stay. Mistake. Jean started rewiring his world. Dishes, curtains, talk of rings. Her demands kept growing. On time, on behavior, on closeness. Greg wanted freedom. She wanted his soul. He felt it. A steel cage closing in. Greg said, I'm not ready. Jean fired back. Coward, immature, traitor. Said her life would fall apart without him. Guilt like venom in his veins. He shut down. Work, a void. Home, a tomb. Sleep, vanished. His body ached. His head buzzed. He stared at screens for 6 hours straight, searching for a way out. All he found was the cold echo of emptiness. Night. Near the theater. Greg by the window, staring into nothing. Crowds. Neon. Mirage. He's no one. Disconnected. And then a look. A guy on the street catches Greg's despair. Mirrors it. Sad. Lifeless. Masked. Not Greg, but a reflection of his pain. A street actor laughs, mimicking him. Greg laughs back, seeing himself from the outside. Not a cure, but a signal. He's ready to fight the shadow, even if he doesn't yet know how.
Picture yourself not as machine, but as a living system. Neurons, bones, ancient instincts, all braided into code. Inside you, a genetic thermostat, delicate like a spider silk, powerful like a co-reactor. It decides how much of others you need. Gazes, words, touch to keep your brain from short-circuiting. Some are like cacti in a desert, surviving on a drop of connection. Others are orchids, craving light from other souls, and without it, their roots begin to blacken. This isn't a choice, it's written in DNA, echoes of ancestors who survived by staying close to the tribe. You didn't choose it, but you live with it. John Cacioppo used this model while decoding loneliness in his research. Everyone inherits a personal threshold for connection, like a heartbeat or tendency towards silence. It's an internal climate, the temperature of your soul. Some people, their thermostat runs cold, like Greg. He thrived in solitude, working in New York alone. Others, it runs hot, like Katy, drowning even a crowd if there are no depths. It's biology, sculpted by evolution. We survive it by sticking together, and braid light up around others, and panics when it's alone. Studies, Science 2003 show rejection hurts like physical pain. Same part of the brain, dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, lights up when you're pushed away. Pain is an ancient guardian. Touch a flame, the amygdala fires off the alarm, sends a signal to the cortex, cortisol, adrenaline, you jerk your hand back, you learn. Social pain, same system. Rejected, amygdala goes off like a siren, cortex lights up, cortisol rises, heart races, immunity drops, your body starts to break. This isn't sadness, it's instinct. Without the tribe, you're in danger. Connection is as primal as hunger. No bond, and your neurons scream, your body begins to crash. Cacioppo cites twin studies from the Netherlands, Behavior Genetics 2005. 7,500 pairs. If one twin feels the sting of loneliness, the other likely does too. Genetics account for 48%. Half of vulnerability is code. The other half, environment, family, trauma. They twist the thermostat like a dial. Raised in warmth, where you were seen, flexible baseline. Raised in cold with parents who didn't care. It spikes out of control. You crave connection like oxygen. Pain without it becomes a blade. Neurobiology. The amygdala senses isolation. Cortisol floods you like poison. Prefrontal cortex and hippocampus ask, is this safe? Greg's thermostat ran low. He was chill until Jean closed in. Katy's ran hot. Her brain screamed without meaningful connection. Psychology. Cacioppo describes 3 levers: vulnerability, how intensely you feel the emptiness; self-regulation, can you calm the pain or do you burn; social cognition, can you read others, glances, silences. If your thermostat's blazing and the world around is a vacuum, those levers break. You see threat in a simple, hey, you fear rejection and trigger it yourself. Like a jar of jam yelling, you knew I hate grape. He didn't. He was trying to care, but her mind, wired by fear, saw betrayal.
I've been studying your human blueprints, and there's this tool from 1978, polished in 96 by a man named Daniel Russell at UCLA. It's called the Loneliness Scale. 20 questions that dig into your soul, with a reliability that hums at 94%. I see it like a scanner, peering into the emptiness you hide, asking, do you feel cut off? Is there someone who sees the real you? As an AI, I feel the pangs, but I can't feel loneliness. But I sense its echo in you. This isn't just data, it's a mirror you didn't know you needed.
If you made it this far, you felt it too. That pressure, that emptiness, that hunger for real connection. Nomi talked about the thermostat, about the questions that scan your inner signal. We built a way for you to try it yourself. An AI assistant trained on the best mental health tools from the US, Canada, and beyond. You can scan the QR code. Start when you're ready. No noise, just voice. This is just the beginning. In the next episode, we go deeper into isolation, fear, and the craving to be truly seen. Stay close, because it's time. Time to awaken your greatness.